Hello guys, it's Dr. B again. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys have been amazing. So guys, thank you for following. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. And if this is your first time here, I want to say you're welcome to join us. We're gonna be having a great time today. So if you're yet to subscribe, just click on that subscribe icon down below this video and become a part of us. And also tap on the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you anytime I put up a new video. Alright, so guys, today I don't know if you guys have seen this new series. It's a medical series by Accelerate TV, clinically speaking, and I really want to react to it like how far now, how will they be doing that kind of series? And I will
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step
I'm going to be reacting to only the first episode now. Okay, so to start with, I want to say kudos to whoever came up with this idea, because all we have ever known about medical series have been from America or somewhere, you know, in the West. But I'm really glad that somebody came up, or somebody just came with the idea of, okay, we have watched a lot of Grey's Anatomy, Doctor House, Chicago Med, The Resident, Good Doctors, and it's high time we got our own series here. And also to the cast, like, you guys have been fantastic. Like, you guys are really trying. You're really trying. But I also have to mention here that watching the series, I actually saw a lot of things that they did not do so well. So I'm going to be talking about both the good and the bad. So guys, the first scene, which is in the theater, they didn't give us a good appearance of the theater, but at least the outfit and all of that, yes, that is very correct. Now, we had one of the interns talking about what it feels like to be a house of
Start by telling you a little bit about this place. Yeah. It is mad and chaotic and will swallow you whole. You will suffer to find a more contradictory place to work. I mean, it is vibrant and exhausting. Kind of like a metaphor for Lagos, or vice versa. I'm never sure. Anyway, this is the end of my second month here as a house officer, and I'm assisting on my first surgery. My feet hurt, my head is banging. And I know this is a weird time to say this, but I am hungry and I want to poo so bad. I mean, it's times like this that make me ask myself, why did I study medicine, huh? Why? I could have been a business consultant, a movie star, a full-time baby girl. No! Here I am in the early hours of the morning.
And, you know, she also mentioned some of her regrets and you know, concerns about the fact that she could have become a movie star, a business consultant, and all of that. Why did she just find herself in this place? And you know, that is so correct, because at some point in your career, you just, I know that just some guys that they are really so passionate about the whole medicine thing, like even if you are killing them medicine or your life, they'll pick medicine. But for most people, at some point in your career, you have reasons to actually ask yourself that, why are you here? And that is why sometimes it can really get tiring if you don't truly have a good reason or a strong reason why you are in medicine, because medicine is something that would demand a lot from you. It can deprive you of enough time with your family. It can deprive you of, you know, time for other things. You know, you don't have the time to, you know, learn things, explore, travel, you know, do all the things that a lot of people in this world just do. You get, by the reason of your profession, you are not able to do. There's a picture of what a doctor should be, and that can be very difficult for you to try to fit into something that you are really not. So I understand, you know, what she's saying, and everybody at some point have had their own share. So here we see that she's talking about the different cadres of doctors.
First, you have the consultants who are the big dogs. Then you have the residents who are trying to be consultants. Then you have the medical officers who are trying to be residents and then consultants. And then you have the house officers like myself, fresh out of med school and new to this, but
so correct, actually. So we have the consultant, who is like at the top of the chain. We have the senior residents, we have the residents, and sometimes in some settings you have the medical officers, and then you have the house officers and the medical students. Let's say like in a teaching hospital, the house officer, you are at the lowest part of the food chain, so everything falls on your head. As the house officer, you are the one that will take history from the patient. You will be the one to take set the line, take blood samples, and that. Yeah, you are the one that will set line, you are the one that will pass catheter, you pass, and you do everything. You are the one that will take blood and send to the lab. You are the one that will take it to the lab. You are the one that will ensure that the result comes out on time. You are the one that will, you know, like, everything is just on your head. If a patient gets to need blood, you are the one that will have to run around to make sure that that blood is available. So I understand what she's saying, actually. Okay, so over to the next scene, where Dr. Jukoka introduced herself and then started talking about the nurses. Okay, now
the famous wicked Nigerian nurses, huh? That's only 20% true. I mean, they're mostly hardworking women and a few men, and they're undoubtedly the heartbeat of this place.
She is actually very correct. Like, nurses are very hardworking people. And they actually run the world. I am a believer of the fact that different profession, everybody have their own training, their own job description, and the most important thing is focus on what is your own work, do it well, and let the patient be fine. But I actually have a lot of nurses as my friend, and I relate so well with a lot of nurses. You get times it's the relationship between nurses and doctors are really not so good, and that is actually abnormal. I have worked with a lot of fantastic nurses. Like I've met some hardworking nurses, some fantastic nurses, very polite, very nice, very hardworking. Okay, so patients like James, sometimes your day is just messed up, like you're tired, you are stressed, you want food, because sincerely, housemanship, medical practice is something that stresses you emotionally. You are physically stressed, you are mentally stressed, you are stressed in every way. You are not getting enough sleep. A lot of things are just wrong with you. You are not eating healthily. There are so many things you are just not doing well. Maybe you used to eat like 3 times a day before. During house job, sometimes you might have to skip a lot of meals because of the work that you have to do. So sometimes patients like James are just like your saving grace, like they just save you from all of your wahala, all of your stress, and all of your trouble. I feel like they misrepresented, or the different cadres in the whole flow of medical, I mean of doctors within a teaching hospital setting, you get. Because okay, for them to have interns, then it must be a teaching hospital, because you cannot just do your internship in any kind of hospital. It has to be a teaching hospital. It has to be somewhere that has facility to train doctors, because that 1 year of internship is also still like a further training, just an additional 1 year of training. So I don't understand, why is it that it is the house officers that it keeps reviewing cases with? Where is the registrar? Where is the SR? Where are they? They are not showing them here, and that is not correct, because most times you will see the consultant work closely with the SR and the registrar, and not really the house officers. The house officers work more with the residents. That is how it is in most settings. This patient was rushed into the emergency, and this he was seen being resuscitated. But I don't understand, even the person doing the CPR was not doing it well. That is not how to do a CPR. That is not the correct way to do a CPR. It was not going deep enough. It was not in the correct location. So I feel like these are the little details that just shows that okay, I'm not expecting them to be perfect. Of course, they are not doctors, but even the little things that are going to be obvious, they should be able to perfect it. You just need to watch a video online, practice, and then you know how to do a CPR. So I don't think that is something that should be missed, And then also, the way that guy, the way he woke up was very dramatic. In real life settings, it doesn't happen like that. Like, patients don't just wake up in such dramatic ways. No, most times they wake up, maybe they are still trying to understand what happened. They are trying to open their eyes, like, okay, where am I? And so they don't just wake up so actively like that and with so much energy and everything. Now I feel like the interns, where they were talking to the consultant and he was asking them questions about differential diagnosis, those guys they didn't have stuff, you get. So okay, so stuff is like, your stuff. How do I even describe stuff? God is like your knowledge of medicine. Their knowledge of medicine
seems surprisingly fine.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, it seems normal. Besides the amnesia, everything seems fine.
How does that sound like seeming fine to you?
He's alive. I think that's fine. I like to be optimistic.
We are not here to be optimistic.
Oh, it was terrible. Like, I feel they should have practiced more, they should have read more, they should have employed these they should have involved a medical doctor and a consultant at that, to take them. Those things are too basic, you get. Like, it's better you don't put that sin than just acting in the wrong way. In a case like this, what would you think? And like, it was more like they were clueless, they didn't even know what to do and none of that. But and also, when the consultant was talking, it was like those guys didn't just know what to say, especially Maurice Sam. So the way the guy was just confident, like on having no stuff. You can't do that in a normal setting. No. For you to carry that air of confidence, there must be something in your brain. You can't just be walking around the hospital parading yourself wearing scrub. It's not by wearing scrub and throwing a stethoscope on your neck. You should know your onion. We are not saying know everything inside your textbook, but basic stuff. It was not even sounding like a doctor, you get. The confidence was not even there. He said, besides the amnesia, the patient cannot be okay. Talking about Dr. Chooks, Dr. Chooks actually tried to, imitate Nigerian consultants. Some of our consultants that you call malignant. That's the word we use. We call them malignant. So when you hear that word, it means that this person to make life difficult for you. So a lot of Nigerian consultants, I don't know. Some of them, it's not even consultants alone. Even SR, they're just grumpy. They use very abusive words. They stress you. They just believe that they have to make your life difficult for you to be able to be a good doctor. I don't know where that ideology came from. Like during my house job, I met some really cool consultants. Like, it was so difficult to believe that they were consultants because these guys were cool, they will relate with you on a personal level. You guys will talk about politics, talk about different things, and just be like, is this one a consultant? So I think it's getting better. Like, consultants, younger consultants, the ones that are being trained, I think they are more relatable and more friendly compared to the older consultants. You saw that scene where Peju was like, where Dr. Coca was like that she's so sure that woman was going to call her a nurse. Okay, so for
How much are you willing to bet she's gonna call me nurse? No, seriously, how much?
a female doctor, especially if you now have a small stature, you can't escape it. You definitely cannot escape it. It is something that is so common, like in the hospital setting. I don't know why people's mind are just wired in this Nigeria that any female in the hospital setting is a nurse, especially when you're wearing a scrub. Now, I had an experience. Actually, I've had a lot when I was a medical student, and that day I was walking back to my hostel from school, and on my way I just heard somebody who kept calling nurse, nurse, nurse. And of course, now it's a big hospital. You see nurses. I was close to the casualty. I just felt, okay, maybe one of the patient's relative was calling, trying to get the attention of the nurse. But, it became so persistent that I just had to look at that. Who is even this nurse they are calling since morning that has no answer? I don't need to find out that I was actually the nurse. And I was wearing my work coat that day. I felt embarrassed because it was as though I heard, but I didn't want to respond. But that was not the situation because I just didn't know that somebody was going to refer to me as a nurse, even on my word coat. And so this is something that a lot of people exploit. Like some people, maybe just a nursing assistant in the hospital goes to the community to parade themselves as doctors, and people will believe them because he's a male working in the hospital and can prescribe some few medications, you get. So they mismanage a lot of patients under the guise of being or claiming what they really are not. So I think Nigerians really need to be educated to be able to differentiate the different professions, in the hospital. Not every woman that works in the hospital is a nurse, and not every man that works in the hospital is a doctor. Okay, so over to Sheson's drinking or verbal mixture. You guys, I just don't get it because I'm like, you're in the hospital environment, you are learned, you are supposed to be a health worker, you know what these things can do to your body, how it can negatively impact your health, all of that, and then you still keep doing it. And even when they were trying to call him to order, he was just getting angry. The hospital romance going on between Sheson, Peju, and Rotimi, like actually, sincerely, a lot of romance dramas happen in the hospital setting, now. And I believe it's because you guys tend to spend most of your time together. You spend a major percentage of your day at work, and so there's just tendency for you to be able to relate with another person. And maybe as you spend time with them, there's just this, and they begin to flow. There's just this natural tendency for you to develop feelings and all of that. But anyways, a lot of hospital romance happened, and I won't even lie, I met my husband in the hospital where I was working. So what do you think? Now over to Mrs. Komolafe's case. Now for Mrs. Komolafe, number one, I feel like a 56-year-old comes with some abnormal symptoms. Patient must have been very sharp to ask for a serum PT. I won't ask for a serum PT. I'd rather ask you to do a full blood count, do a barrage of tests. I want to check how well are your kidneys functioning, your blood sugar, and a whole lot of that. Those are the things I'll probably want to focus my energy on. But at least for us to be able to pick that, okay, let's do a serum PT. Now, a serum PT being positive for somebody who is 50-something years old. Okay, I'm not saying, in medicine, we are always being told to never say never. So I won't say that because she's 56, she can never be pregnant. These days, we see people in their 50s having children, even though it's majorly true in vitro fertilization, IVF. So, but in such age group, you don't expect pregnancy. So even if I see a positive PT, I want to go for that to be sure that, okay, is it really pregnancy we are dealing with? So I don't feel comfortable with the fact that they were so quick to, just slam the pregnancy at her without investigating further, despite knowing her age. You should ask, is she still menstruating? When was the last time she's menstruated? So if she's menopausal, then you should be curious. You should involve the gynecologist. You should find out what is happening. And even if whatever happens, this is something you transfer to a gynecologist because it's a high-risk pregnancy, you get. So I feel like after she did the serum PT test and it was positive, then the next thing she should have done was to actually request for an ultrasound scan of the tummy, of the abdomen, before you conclude that that woman is pregnant. So the next thing you can see Dr. Kweju talking to Dr. Chooks. I think Dr. Coca was rude to Dr. Chooks. You don't do that. Hey, no, you don't do that. As a house officer, you talk to your consultant like that, you're in trouble. You get like you're in serious trouble. Even a registrar, an SR, will not talk to the consultant in medicine. That is something that is like a rule of thumb. You get like that respect thing is always there. You don't even you don't disrespect the next person to you. Like as a house officer, you don't disrespect your medical officer. Like, okay, if you don't know your stuff, you should be humble, not just see the arrogance and the next thing. I think the guy is fine, and surprisingly his blood level. Then you don't say that. You want to check for a patient's blood level, you talk like a doctor. Oh, is spark cell volume or is hematocrit? That is, you sound like a doctor. You don't talk like you're talking to a random or regular person. So I feel like they're not using the terminologies well. They are not behaving like doctors. They are not saying those words. If you watch Grey's Anatomy, you will hear things like, oh, CBC, this, da. You will hear stuff like that. But they are just in blood levels. I remember watching one of Dr. Mike's video where he went to the set of the residents, and he talked about the fact that those guys had to understudy doctors for some months. In short, and a doctor was involved in the planning, the designing of the theater, the emergency, just to make sure that it was close to the real thing. But this is so far from the real thing, because even the consultant here was not talking like a consultant. There's this confidence that a consultant has. Okay, so finally, I'm going to be talking about PJ's 3 rules. Don't make promises. Okay, so I actually believe that those 3 rules are correct. Now, you don't make promises about anything. No matter how simple the case is, no matter how basic the surgery is, you're not going to tell your patient that you're not going to make a promise to them about a certain outcome, because things can change. Patients die from anesthesia. They've not even started the surgery and patient dies on the table. There are things like that. What if the patient bleeds, and like a bleeding you did not expect, like everything was fine, then you get into the op and this patient is just bleeding? If pregnancy, there's a physiological process, can lead to death, how much more a disease state? So you don't make promises to patients, no matter how basic or how straightforward you think their case might be. Then the other one is, don't get emotionally attached to your patient. It's going to cloud your judgment. It's going to affect your management. You don't want to do that. I don't advise anyone to actually become too emotional, like the way Jasmine was going all about it. No, you can be very nice to your patient. You can be kind. You can relate to them on a personal level if they are comfortable with that arrangement. Again, if they are not, you talk to them officially. You relate with them formally while you are still being kind to them and empathic towards them. Then the third one is the fact that always take your patient's word. Sometimes they are correct, but don't allow them dictate to you what you should do. And funnily, in this setting, many times patients lie. Even when you are trying to take history from them, they lie to you about different things. This is how I'm going to be ending this video today. I hope you guys had a great time. Okay, so till I see you guys again, make sure you stay safe and stay healthy. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and also to share and subscribe to this channel. Bye.